Hello! People who grew up with strict parents, what was their most unreasonable rule? Fuck yeah, let's go. I wasn't allowed to say I died on Mario. I lost one of my chances to succeed. It's so fucking stupid. Oh my god, that's so lame. I never had any of those kind of lame rules where you had to curb your words. I know some places, some households you weren't allowed to say fart. Fart was considered a bad word. Ugh. Ugh. I am so sorry. Let's move on. My parents were pretty slack on everything except one thing. No video game console ever, and no online games on the computer because that how you get virus and make the computer run slow. So, I was playing my MMORG when they were sleeping in a hidden file, in a file, in another file. In another file, I was changing the appearance of every file icon. I've done that. I didn't realize you could just, like, search for things, though, which defeats the purpose, but hey, I tried. Also, my mom was hell-bent on computer viruses and shit, and there's a sweet ending to this, but anyway. I would get in trouble all the time as soon as the computer wouldn't do something. And also, my mom is severely computer illiterate, which translates to, nothing works for her because she's a dum-dum. So, she would just take out all of her frustration on me. So it would be, the printer has a virus, and the keyboard has a virus, but just the J key. That's it. That's all the virus did. Some kid made this virus just for the fucking J key, apparently. So, years of this, we finally grow up and we all, all the siblings and me, we get our own computers and laptops, and my mom has her own. It's no longer the family computer, it is just hers and ours. Everything's separate. We are our own faults within our computers. Our computers represent how stupid we are. So anyway, surprise, mine was brilliant and amazing and a genius. And my mom's became a crippled piece of shit that could not do anything ever. Oh, and then of course, whenever something goes wrong, it's definitely not her fault. Oh no, she can't do anything wrong. Oh my god. How many of you people relate to me on this? Please let me know. But anyway, yeah, she'd always summon me and be like, "Oh my god, this isn't working." You know that stupid fill-in shit they do when they're totally aren't at fault because they're perfect beings and shit. Oh, God. Okay. I relate to that a little bit, if you can't tell. Next one. I had a friend who wasn't allowed to say the word stupid and tried to report me to the teacher when I said it. Wow. Nice. Ooh. Speaking of school, it was middle school, and the principal had to come into every room one at a time for like the entire day, sit down with all of us, and discuss how the word suck was banned. And I remember, like, the fabricated pain on his face as he's sitting down and he's looking down to the ground because, ooh, it pains him so bad to have to say this word, but he has to say this word so that we know what the word is. And he's just like, the word suck. Ooh! And then later that year we had some school dance thing, and that one Blink-182 song started playing where it says work sucks, and everybody screamed it because we were such little, what the hell, like 12-year-old rebels. Yeah. Get on our level, thank you. Alright, let's see. It also says, teacher yelled at me and then told me it was okay in private and not to say it around that one kid. Nice guy though, just a helicopter mom. Just had a helicopter mom. Oopsie daisies. Yeah, gross. What okay yeah says, my stepmom decided that I was using too much shampoo. Ooh, guilty here too. She would get a little medicine cup before my shower and pour the designated amount into it. Wow, it's like that person's a laundry receptacle thing. I can't think of the word. Washer and dryer, thank you. It wasn't ever enough because I had hair down to my butt. I also wasn't allowed to use conditioner. Screw her. I would use my sister's. This is what you think. I would use my sister's shaving cream because it foamed and I thought it was cool as a little kid. Thank you. I'd spritz it all over the walls and I got in trouble. Oops. The walls of the bathtub, so not as bad. Next. Happy Little 3 says, we could not listen to music with guitars in it. Oh, shit. I will never forget the day my brother was listening to Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and my father took the radio and threw it threw it through the window. Okay. Spent my childhood listening to Richard Marx and Michael Bolton. Thanks, Dad. Well, okay. It's just a prank bro says, currently on holiday in Japan. Have to message every hour to update the... Oh. Helicopter parents. Yeah. I don't know. I am a very sad child. My parents never paid attention to me. I can understand why helicopter parents kind of suck balls. But, you know, it's nice that they actually cared. Because mine never really did. So, yeah, that kind of blows. But, regardless, I can see how an hourly mandatory update is not fucking fun. Sorry I cursed so much, guys. That's how I vent. I'm a very stressed person. Haha. Anyway. Yeah, I knew this one guy. He was dating a friend, but anyway, this guy was a doctor. Like an actual doctor that saved lives. And his mom was a helicopter mom. And he had to call her once every day. And they would talk for hours because she demanded it. She was a horrible human being. Just to settle her into your judgments here. Her husband was terminal with cancer. He had like 3 different types of cancer, and they were all stage 4. So, for anyone who's not experienced with cancer terms, that means you're dead. You're on borrowed time. You're dead. So, his last few weeks of life, he would have appointments to go to the doctor, and he couldn't drive because he was in so much pain and crippled from all of the, cancer destroying his body. And what would his amazing wife do instead? She would not take him to the doctors, instead go shopping at the mall, because she has to every week. Oh my god. So, that's the kind of Satan human she is. Ugh. And then that guy was apparently nice, but of course he dies. But then the crazy bitch is the one that lives. Why is it that it's always... Oh, this fucking iPod. Why is it always the shitty people that are the ones who live on pretty much forever? You tell me. Okay? So anyway, yeah. This doctor guy had to talk to her for an hour at a time. Or not an hour at a time. Had to talk to her once every day for hours at a time. And it's one thing if you're catching up after like not talking for months, that's cool. But this is since forever he's been having to talk to her for hours every day. And I am a chatty Cathy, but talking for hours every day, no. Anyway, yeah, Japan, fun. Anyway, Silly Christians says, for every minute I was late coming in from curfew, I got grounded a week. I once spent 10 weeks grounded due to a sobriety checkpoint. Ooh. I had a sobriety checkpoint once. I was coming home from like a little bit of a road trip, and there were just lots of cops in this one area, and I'm like, alright. So I drive up, and I roll my window down, and a cop comes right up to my door, and he's like, hey, you been drinking? And I just look up, and I'm like, do you mean like Kool-Aid? So he let me go. I was naive, but adorable. Regal, fuck that. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to cross any streets until middle school. Thus, my best friends were the ones who lived on the same block as me. Oh, that sucks. That's it. Bacon Hammers says, When my mom is sleeping on the couch, I can't go in the fridge. That sucks. Problem is, she always sleeps on the couch, never in the bedroom, and she usually slept until 2 in the afternoon. So I had to sneak around to even get something to eat. That definitely sounds a little messed up. Someone says, what's she hiding in the fridge? Someone else says, bodies of kids who reach the fridge when she's sleeping on the couch. That's so funny. Thank you. Mevka says, I was not allowed to talk to boys. Ooh, I bet this was one of those sassy parents that's like, you're not allowed to date till after you're married. Ha ha! One Christmas Eve day, I was doing last minute shopping. Ugh. Fuck. Fuck these types of people. Like, really, Christmas is the same day every year. Just get on it. Or just go to your friends and family and be like, hey guys, how about no gifts? That's what I did. It's amazing. It's better than sweating bullets for months trying to find the perfect gifts for people. Fucking, they stuff it in their closet anyway. Ugh. So insulting. If I'm gonna spend my barely money I even have, please let it be something you actually like. Oh, and one more thing. I did tell my family. I'm like, hey, can you guys make lists of exactly what you want? So that when I spend my money, you don't just throw it in your closet and it's an absolute waste? They refused because it takes the magic out of Christmas. Wow. Get fucked. Anyway, I was doing last minute shopping in the downtown of our little town. I ran into 2 male friends from my German class and we talked for several minutes and wished each other a Merry Christmas. Oh, I was 15 at the time. My older sister drove by and saw me, told my parents I was hanging out with boys. When I walked in the house, both my parents were waiting, and the yelling began. Some Christmas Eve. Yeah. Nilo Collins says, have a friend who isn't allowed to go out if he's already had too much fun this weekend. That's the only reason. They think he'll become corrupted if he has too much fun, and that he won't know how to work. He's in college. Ha! Here's some fun shit. My mom, back when I was a teenager, she would whine that I wasn't doing enough, I guess, because back as a shitlin, I was in basketball and, like, t-ball for a year or 2, and apparently that means I want to always do things. We moved into the suburbs, so we couldn't really just, like, go outside and do things. I didn't really have any toys either, thanks. Ugh. But anyway, point being, she would bitch. I'm so sorry about cursing so much. I can't help it. She would have a tiffy about how I wouldn't do anything. I never went out and did anything. I wasn't in any clubs. I wasn't making any friends, even though I was being bullied all the time, which, you know, kind of puts a hinder on making friends. Especially since the reason I started getting bullied was because I made friends with the girl who was showing me around in school. Anyway, so at one point, I made a new friend. She's in a martial arts dojo, so I'm like, alright, I always wanted to kind of learn that. So, I joined, and it was only twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thanks for asking. And sure enough, my mom started bitching about that I spent too much time at that. Are you kidding? It's 2 times a week. For like an hour or 2. Like, nothing makes her happy. Spoiler alert, okay? So that explains a lot. I hope none of you have crappy parents like that, but it's overwhelmingly common, and we all have to pretend that it's not existing, because if we speak ill of our parents, it means we're the worst child ever, but I got over that years ago, because I don't speak to them anymore. Best decision ever. Anyway, Jimafig says, Dad was a narcissist, ... Biggest rule in the house was to not make any noise around him. Oh, fuck, I relate to this. Damn it! If he was home, the whole house got quiet and tense. Even my mom used to eat her cereal in the bedroom because she'd get in trouble for chewing crunchy food. Oh. Now, she's long rid of him, good, and married to a way better guy, good. But she still apologizes for eating crackers. Yeah, so my mom was the narcissist here. Again, she can do no wrong. The computer gets viruses on its own, not her just being stupid, and not open to learning and bettering herself ever. So anyway, with this, my dad would work overtime, like all the time. So he was the breadwinner, and she just kind of would look busy at her job and complain and be crappy. Point being, on the weekend, my pep would try to sleep in, and then my mem would be like, fuck everybody in this house, and she would vacuum right in the morning to wake us up passive-aggressively all the time. Jesus Christ. Horrible woman. Flubba-dub-dub, which might be Rick and Morty references. If I was allowed to talk to my siblings, my birth mother would hand me the phone and kitchen timer with a 5 to 10 minutes on it. There weren't any bad influences or anything she was trying to protect me from. She claimed it was due to a long-distance bill, but wouldn't change the rule when I offered to pay for it. Joke's on her, though. Now we haven't spoken in 8 years, and I've never been happier. I relate to you, Mr. or Mrs. or whatever the fuck. You're a dog, maybe. Ugh, yeah. Fuck those people. Link's soul. Females of the family must cook and clean on holidays while males watch TV. Ooh. Must bust males' plates every night, no visiting friends' houses, no friends over at our houses, all the way through high school. Hair cannot be cut at or above shoulder. Oh, gross. 7 p.m. bedtime, not curfew, bedtime. Through junior high, strictly enforced. Needless to say, I rebelled. Strong and hard. Yeah, that kind of sounds really horrifying. Ugh. Gross. You know, I met one of these guys where, like, women have to be these cookie cutter second class things, and I didn't realize it at first, and so it was like a group meeting, so we're all shaking hands, saying pleasantries and stuff, and I go to shake his hand, and he was a deer in headlights, like super scream eyes at me, because a woman such as me went to shake his hand, and I'm like, oh, and I just shake his hand, and I was wearing pants. Women are not to be wearing slacks. But I did. Oops. I almost saw him again, and I was gonna mess with him again, but I ended up not going to this whatever thing. So I really wanted to mess with him. Just for fun. Lon Bimach says, I was from a large family and discipline was very strict. If myself or one of my siblings broke one of the major rules, my parents would hold a truth session. All the children would be brought to my dad's study, where the guilty party would be given an opportunity to confess. If nobody came forward, we would be hit in turn in order of ascending age. The eldest 4 were hit with a sewer rod while, in deference to their age, the youngest ones would get a whack of a bamboo stick. A sewer rod is basically a 4-foot-long flexible rubber rod, around an inch thick with a metal cap. It would leave the most remarkable welts. Horrendous things, really. Anyway, this would continue until someone admitted their guilt, air quotes. At that point, they would receive the blows that everyone else had received at that point. Damn, son. So, that was awful. I fully acknowledge that. I'm under no illusions. However, that wasn't the actual unreasonableness. No, the unreasonable part was that the person who caused, air quotes, the truth session didn't always receive the accrued punishment owed for having their siblings beaten. Sometimes they could just be let go, making their siblings hate them for causing pain to them. There'd be no explanation. The study door would be opened and we'd all be told to leave. That meant you could be rewarded for holding out and avoiding punishment you definitely get if you admitted it in the beginning. My parents now tell fun stories about how when I was a child and I'd done something wrong, I'd always begin with, "Let me tell you my story." Ha ha. they chortle at my childish phrasing while I recall the terror that was such an approach was meant to stave off. Okay. For me, I was never a liar child. I actually only would really get grounded for bad grades, and my mom knew exactly where to hurt me, which was video games. I couldn't play Sonic 3 and Knuckles together, which sucked. Still one of my favorite games to this day. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. My siblings, however, really loved to lie because they were shitty people, and that's what liars do. They like to hide responsibility of their crap. Anyway, people are like, why do you still talk to them? Seriously, though, why? Sounds like grounds for saying you were a terrible parent. I don't think they ever responded. Well, gosh. That's about it. Oh, here we go! No dating till marriage! Thanks, Rip Fun. That's good. Someone says, so, marry, and then date? Married at First Sight subreddit. This is real, and not as batshit crazy as I expected. Yeah. Sometimes arranged marriages work well, apparently, because both families are, like, really serious about it, and they do all, like, the inner workings of would it really work. So I've heard. Auxcom says, I had to write essays on shows that I wanted to watch. Oh. In order to have them unblocked by the parental controls, I remember writing a riveting piece on the educational and cultural benefit of Disney's That's So Raven. Also, I wasn't allowed to watch PG-13 movies even after turning 13. I wasn't allowed to rest my head on my hand with my elbow on any table while there was food on that table. If my parents found out I was going too fast in my car, small town, so other parents would snitch on me pretty regularly for going over 10 over, I had to pay my parents speeding tickets, air quotes. Also, they would make me pay for the whole family's phone bill if I text a boy. Damn. By that time, I moved out at 17. I had given them well over $1,000 in punishment money earned at the Sonic Drive-In. Oh! Okay. Again, my parents never paid attention to me, so I was watching R-rated movies when I was 5, so I can't relate to that. I never had to write any essays. The essays kind of sound a little interesting, though. Resting your head on your hand, elbows on the table. Well, that's because of sailors, and sailors were considered to be rude, because they would curse so much like me. But anyway, the reason why, did you know? The reason why the sailors were known for having their, the reason why having your elbows on a table is considered rude is because it was derived from sailors, because since they're on the sea, the plates would move around, so they had to hold the plate in place on the table with their elbows, and then they would eat, and that's where it came from, and sailors were known as being rude because they would curse and blah blah blah. And, there's your fact. Next person says, Floxy says, you can't have privacy. Literally quoted from my dad. Yeah. I think when they're teenagers, you should let them have their door closed. I mean, I wasn't really doing anything of that nature that you would need the door closed, but it was just nice to have, my own little tiny crappy pretend apartment, so to say. But my mom would just barge in, or at best she would knock as she's opening the door, and it's like, what is the point? Thank you. Someone else says, my dad used to threaten me by saying he would take my room's door off if I kept closing it. I didn't know that was possible until he eventually did. Ooh, I had a friend. She was my best friend at the time, and her mom was also a crazy. And I still have like the high school note of it somewhere, where my friend was telling me that her mom was going insane over my friend closing her door, and to quote my friend's mom, "Doors are meant to be open." Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, ugh. Some parents are just stupid. Oh, while I remember, just stupid parent logic here. I had a boyfriend. He ended up being really shitty and abusive and pretended to have multiple personalities. That's a big story, but let's just put that to the side for another day. I mean, if you guys want to hear about it, I'll make a video or something. But anyway, back when he was good, back when the crazies pretend to be good to fool you until you're like neck deep. Anyway, my parents had this stupid logic where my boyfriend and I weren't allowed to sleep next to each other. Just like a nap attack. That was not allowed. But we were allowed to have sex. The sec. I'm a little confused by that, because my mom was always like, "I will go buy you condoms because I do not want to be a young grandmother." So I was like, okay. But then sleeping, just laying unconscious next to each other, that's forbidden. Whoa! Worse than oops babies, apparently. Just fucking dumb. Ugh. Alpha Miller says, "My father was very, very strict. I wasn't allowed to have alone time with my mother." Oh. "He beat the shit out of me constantly, but the oddest thing that still bugs me to this day is that he would burn all my things as punishment. And I get it. Seeing my toys and valuables burning sucked, and I probably learned some lessons. But he not only burned toys, he would burn everything. Every year or so for school, we would go to Major? Fuck. And buy me some new school clothes and shoes. He would also burn those, like, sometimes days after we bought them. At 8 years old, I remember thinking, you now have to buy me more clothes. But that wasn't the point, I suppose. He once took me to the palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit to see the Globetrotters. Hell yeah, one year. And during the night, he bought me a Globetrotters basketball and jersey. We had a fun night. The very next day, I had left something on the floor in my room, and his punishment, among other things, was to burn the basketball and jersey he bought for like $150 less than 24 hours earlier. It just never made sense to me. My friends would joke about it all throughout middle school and high school. First, Globetrotters, yes, I've gone several times, and I was looking at tickets like a few months ago. Hell yeah. I have a friend who, the mother would do something very, very similar to this. Wouldn't burn anything because, one, that was too much effort, I guess, and two, neighbors would notice and be able to report the mother for this shit. She would do the same, where she would just grab everything in my friend's room and just throw it all out. All the things she bought. Everything. And it's like, good job. Now you have to buy it all over again. But, she was a bit of a cunt. Where she didn't care about money, and you know why? Because her ex-husband was a very, very rich doctor, and since they had children together, and they divorced, there was something called child support. She would get at least $9,000 a month in child support. $9,000 allowance. So she wouldn't work or do anything ever. So that's how she could afford to just do this shit to her children and then just buy everything again. And to this day, like a decade later, she still just has this horrible behavior and tendency where she buys things over and over again. when I would be over at her house with my friend, I would just see like all these things still in packaging, and she would just buy more because she would forget where she put them. 'Cause she was also slightly a hoarder, but not much. A little slobby, but it's just the fact that she was too lazy to look into anything. So it's like, ugh, bah, bah. I'm gonna end it there. 30 minutes, pretty good. I don't want to ramble too much. Thank you. Bye.